Good morning. We will go ahead and call our meeting to order this morning. Chair Borgeson is unavailable, so you drew the short straw and are stuck with me for this morning. There is a copy of the Open Meetings Act in the back of the chamber if anybody would like to see it. This meeting is being conducted in compliance with those laws. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh, could you please call the roll for the Board of Equalization?
Commissioner Boyle, Commissioner Borgeson, Commissioner Kraft, Commissioner Morgan, Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Tusha, Mr.
Here.
Chairman.
Here. Thank you. Item A is the minutes from last week's Board of Equalization meeting. Item B is to call for a meeting 2 weeks from today as the date for hearing on certified assessment corrections.
Motion to approve A and B.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Clerk, could you please call the vote? Oh, I'm sorry. We don't do that anymore. Too old. Please vote. It takes a while to get back into the routine.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Citizens' comments. Anybody wishing to address the Board of Equalization on any item not on the agenda? Okay. There is one item on item D that we would like to lay over for 2 weeks. The assessor's office has asked us if we could do that on item 11212, Jeffrey Whithelm et al. If people are agreeable to laying that item over for 2 weeks, I would accept a motion to approve.
So moved.
And that's for
D through H.
D through H and adjourn.
Yes, and adjourn.
You're okay. You want to just abstain on the whole thing, or would you like us to separate it out? Fine. All right, then the motion is for D, E, G, and H with the one exception in item D.
So moved.
If there are no questions or comments, could we please vote?
I'm going to abstain because I may have a conflict. I think it's part of it's that treasure building that can pay the web.
Okay, fine.
Management company on.
All right.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Let us come back to item F with certified assessment corrections.
Motion to approve and adjourn.
Questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, just a moment, please.
Oh, I didn't vote, did I? I thought I hit one more button.
Item F and adjournment.
Yes.
Okay, just a moment. Okay. Commissioner Morgan.
Okay.
It didn't register. Okay.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Now we will meet as the Board of Commissioners. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Boyle, Commissioner Borgeson, Commissioner Kraft, Commissioner Morgan, Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Tusha.
Here.
Mr. Chairman.
Present. Thank you. Item 1 is the minutes and claims. Anybody have anything under A, B, or C there that they would like?
Motion to approve A, B, and C.
Okay. Questions or comments? Could we please vote?
Motion passes.
Thank you. This brings us then to the consent agenda. No, that's not.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions or comments on anything on the consent agenda? Then
I
good.
don't know if we got invited to that party on an IV. Just kidding.
Okay, could we please vote on the consent agenda?
Motion passes.
Thank you. Under recognition and proclamations, there is a resolution recognizing National Moment of Remembrance to take place on September 11th, 2011, in recognition of the 10th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks. From Commissioner Borgeson.
Motion approved.
Questions or comments? Could we please vote?
Motion passes.
Thank you. Citizens' comments? Anybody in the chamber wishing to address anything not on the Board of Commissioners agenda? All right. Under presentations, there are no presentations. We have a public hearing today on Class C 95601 license for PNV LLC, doing business as the Wet Lounge, 1021 South 178th Street. Corporate manager application for Patrick A. Vondra. This is the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak to the item?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, Mike Kelly, 7134 Pacific, appearing here on behalf of the applicant. The applicants are well known to me. This is a lounge that my partner and I actually own and have owned for several years out at 178th Pacific. And we are giving her son and his wife a chance to own and operate this, which we think will actually be very good for the neighborhood because it'll give, there'll be some real ownership to this as opposed to absentee owner, which is what I am. But Patrick will be here shortly. He's parking the car. I would like to introduce Nikki Vondra, and she's here if you have any questions. We were actually kind of shocked. We didn't realize that there were that's also Presley who's with her. We were surprised and startled by some of the opposition we got. And I think some of the opposition really comes from something we tried 2 or 3 years ago. It was called a Wet Fest, where we had a band outside and so on. And that really caused a lot of neighborhood problems. Well, we just did that once. I went out there to it myself and I said, this is too loud, we can't do this. Well, I couldn't cancel the band at that moment, but we didn't do it again. No plans to ever do it again.
And this was several years ago, you say?
This was several years ago.
Okay, thank you.
And we are in the process of going and talking to as many neighbors as we can that we've been alerted that had problems. I know Patrick has been doing that, did that last night. The real issue here for the board today is not whether there should be a license there, but whether these people are qualified to manage it. I've known Patrick, I coached him in Little League. I've known him for years. He's worked for us at Clancy's for several years. I know him to do a good job. I know his wife, his lovely wife, Nikki. She's also worked for us for several years in the business. Her mom used to run Zestos, the famous Zestos by Rosenblatt. She's born for the business, does a very good job. So I think that you'll find this will be a neighborhood deal where people really take ownership in it. We did the same exact thing with some employees out in Elkhorn, who I'm pleased to say are doing a very good job with that location. So with that, we're here for questions. Or if there's any, I would like to reserve some time for rebuttal if need be.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing to speak during this public hearing concerning this? We did receive some letters in opposition to the granting of this license from some neighbors and the SIDs, and those have been entered into the public record. Well, if there's no one else wishing to speak, we'll close the public hearing.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Questions or comments? Could we please vote?
Motion passes.
Very good. Thank you.
Good luck, folks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
She's the cutest thing to come this way in a long time. Okay, brings us next to the Finance Committee, Commissioners Kraft and Morgan.
The report is as presented, and we have 2 other issues on the agenda today, and I'm going to have regarding refinancing and rebonding. I'm going to have Joe Lawrence talk about those.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'd just like to bring the board up to date. As you know, we've been doing a refinancing of the correctional bonds, and good news on that front. The first highlight is that the county's AAA rating was reaffirmed from both Standard & Poor's and Moody's. As I think I told some of you, that means with our AAA rating, at least in the eyes of Standard & Poor's, Douglas County is a better credit than the U.S. government.
We don't have John Boehner, so.
So that's real good news. And once we received that reaffirmation of our AAA rating, we went to market and we were able to refinance the bonds, a little over $27 million worth of bonds with average interest rate of 2.17% over about a 5 to 6 year average life. So we really took advantage of the current market conditions, and this refinancing is going to save the county debt service interest savings over the term of the bonds of close to $2.7 million. So it was a successful offering, and I thank Bruce Leffler at Emeritus and Parker Schenken at Baird Home for working with us and helping us move quickly on this opportunity. And I think I'd like to have Bruce Leffler come up for a minute and run over some of the details of the offering.
Good morning. Bruce Leffler, Emeritus Investment Corp, Omaha. I don't know where I fall in the cuteness scale, but that'll not in the top 10. We'll see how that works out. As Joe mentioned, we're pleased to have again represented the county in the offering and marketing of their bonds. Again, very pleased to have seen in an age of uncertainty of things going on in the marketplace, where the county was able to maintain its AAA rating from both Standard & Poor's and Moody's. The summary that you have in front of you, as Joe outlined, shows the reduction of the interest rate on the outstanding bonds from about 4.23 on the outstanding rate to about 2.17, so a reduction of over 2 percentage points in interest rate. And the $2.7 million worth of debt service savings equates to a present value factor of a little over $2.5 million, and as a percentage, at the 9.10, the county typically has a threshold of between 4 and 5% on present value is where we look to do refunding. So obviously we're right in excess of that. We're very pleased with the timing we were able to do to get the interest rates where they were. And as you can see, we provided you with the coupon and the yields, and the yields I think was what you should pay attention to, because that's the actual amount of rate that the county will be paying, the effective rate. It's an interesting environment where you have to go out past 5 years in interest terms to get over 1% on a return on your investment. So it's very good from a borrowing standpoint, and as I'm sure Joe can tell you, it's not a very good situation from an investment standpoint. So again, we're here if you have any questions. And I guess one other thing that we would point out from the agenda standpoint, I think we had a correction on some of the numbers, the final numbers from the agenda. I think the resolution that will be calling the bonds, the first resolution for consideration, is going to be for a redemption of $25,685,000 as a correction of that number, and then the actual final issuance on the second resolution was $27,085,000. There's the amount of bonds that were actually issued.
Bruce, could you repeat those figures?
I'm sorry, 25,685, right? 25,685 is the amount of bonds that are actually being called for redemption. I would just very quickly, the reason that number changed, one of the maturities that are outstanding are just going to come due, so they're not actually being called for redemption. So there actually are $27,740,000 worth of bonds outstanding. One maturity will actually just mature in its normal cause, and then the redemption will be for the remaining bonds of $25,685,000, which is with the difference.
Thank you. Questions or comments for Bruce?
Thank you. Commissioner Duda?
Yes. Commissioner Moore?
I want to speak.
Thank you.
Could you come back to the podium? I'm sorry. In the interest of disclosure, I've been asking what the fees are, and I would like you to, if you could, so the public knows and the board knows as well, what fees are being paid to refinance by you and legal counsel.
The actual total cost of issuance for $27,085,000 is about $272,000. That's an underwriting expense of 0.75%, and then cost of issuance of just shy of $70,000.
Okay. And that's the total cost?
And that's the total cost, and that includes the rating agency fees, the legal fees that are associated with the refinancing of the bonds, and that should cover all the expenses, yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you. You
My
did a
pleasure.
great job, too.
Thank you.
Good question. I don't believe we have a motion yet.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion and a second. Is this for both items 2 and
Yes.
3?
Yes, it is.
Calling and issuing bonds. All right. If there are no more questions, could we please vote?
Motion passes.
Thank you, and thanks to all of you who helped us save some money. Much appreciated. Item 4 of the Finance Committee is a resolution setting the tax rates for the miscellaneous subdivisions as provided by Nebraska statute.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions or comments? Could we please vote?
Motion passes.
Thank you. Under the Administrative Services Committee, Commissioner Tusha, what you got for us?
Okay, Mike, turn my microphone on.
Turn it off.
Thank you. This is a resolution endorsing the recommendations of the .com Review Task Force. This was brought to us last week by Duffy Boyle, and we decided to bring it this week with a resolution to vote on it. And if there's no questions, motion to approve.
Second.
Questions or comments? Appreciate the presentation last week. It was very good, and excited to see what can become of this.
And we wish you luck on it.
Indeed.
Send us an email.
If you can. Could we please vote?
Motion passes.
Thank you. Yes, and good luck, guys. And all. We come down to human resources. We have the weekly personnel report. Anything under legislative issues at this point? Okay. Do we have need for executive session? Whoa, and life is good. Cool. Would remind people there is a meeting of the Criminal Justice Committee with Commissioner Boyle chairing it up in room 903. After this meeting, there will be a meeting of the Finance Committee Thursday at 2 o'clock in room 903.
And that's an open meeting.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And we don't meet next week, and the offices are closed on Monday. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Cool. Well, let's vote.
Sorry, Glenn.
There is a recorder up there for your meeting.
Okay,
20
thanks.
minutes. Now, when was the last time Chair Borgeson had us out of here in 20 minutes?
Motion passes.